Hi, beautiful people, and welcome back. I'm Summer. I wanted to share something that happened the other day. Um, the more and more I've gotten into this newest healing journey within the last couple weeks, dealing with self-worth, self-love, self-trust, and the ability to start trusting other people, mainly. I've really realized the toll that it's taking on me in all ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, and realized that I needed to start doing a lot more or focus more on the self-care aspect afterwards, or when I realize how drained I am. And this happens after channeling, after meditating, after journaling. It happens in various ways, but just these past couple weeks, I've noticed how much of a toll it's taking on me. And so I searched online, and I will try to remember to post the videos that I found, but I found some Kundalini yoga trauma release videos, and one of them was, and I really liked her. It was a lot, from what I researched, it's called Kriya, so it was more breathing techniques, hand positions, mantras to recite. The second one I did was more physical, for the physical release, the somatic release exercises. So I had gone and did maybe about an hour and a half between both videos. Was intentional with my shower afterwards, to make it a cleansing ritual. And once I got back out to my car, grabbed something to eat, I was just kind of unsteady, and I don't think I realized how deep of like a meditative state that I was in, and I couldn't do anything but lay down and meditate. Recently, with this self-worth, self-love, self-trust, I have been intentional with my meditating with my hands, one over my stomach, abdomen, wherever, and then one over my heart. Whereas typically I have my hands at my side up to receive. More recently, I've been focused inwards for myself, for my self-love. So I laid down in this position, and I was told that if I wanted to release anything, that this was going to hold everything in. And so I switched and went back to laying with my hands at my side, palms up. And then I was told that if I wanted to release, then I needed to make space for those to escape, to be released. And a few days prior, during one of my meditations, it was almost a vision of me being sliced from head to toe. There was no pain, no medical instruments, none of that. It was just, I was split, and each layer that was cut through was opened separately. So it was all these different, it was one big opening, but it was in layers. And so I kind of visualized that for me being open to have space to release whatever energies that I needed to release because of this therapy that I'm trying to work through, these traumas that I'm trying to work through. And I was told to take my hands and cup them like this, both hands. And I placed one on my heart like this, and one in between my hip and my groin area, to envision specifically like portals or openings right there at those specific spots. I don't know why. I think just emotionally, maybe some of the sexual trauma, but those were the placements that I was shown that I needed to utilize for openings, for energies to be released. Also in one of the Kundalini yoga meditations, I think it was the second one that I did that was more active, she had asked for everybody to visualize like a fist right in the middle of the brain, which I think she said was where the amygdala was, that holds on to a lot of stuff, and to slowly unclench that fist to release stuff. My guided meditations never look the same as what I'm being guided to by practitioners leading guided meditations. Sometimes it is so far off the mark, it's wild. But instead of a fist, I envisioned a lotus flower, and in my brain it was slowly opening, and it was spinning like one of the chakras. It was spinning and slowly opening, slowly blooming, and it was beautiful. And there was like little gold sparks coming out of it, and the petals were slowly falling, and it was a beautiful image. And so while I'm cupping myself and trying to figure out like where in my body there's tension, or where there's energy that needs to be released, or where am I holding on to stuff that is causing issues, and keeping me blocked in some areas, I started automatically envisioning that lotus flower again, and it was just spinning, and it was the same beautiful vision. And as it's spinning again, the sparks and the petals are falling off of it, but they're coming down. They're coming down out of my brain. And as it's spinning, I was told that it was creating space. So it opening up is creating new space in my brain. That it was creating space for new neural pathways to connect and to be created, but it was also clearing out like blockages that were blocking neural pathways that were already created. And so as I'm being told that, I can see this black substance running through my brain, and it was just like all of the memories and the trauma and the limits that I put on myself, and the stuff that I tell myself that is keeping me limited, and keeping me from moving forward and healing more. So there's this black substance, and it starts like dripping, like an IV drip. It was very slow, very methodical, just dripping, but it was coming out, and it was going to the cupped portals, where the energy was going to be released. And at a certain point, it kind of got dark. Like, not dark, just like a cloud moving in front of the sun temporarily. It just got shaded. And so I was intentional about forcing my light outwards, my healing light, my energetic light, surrounding myself. And I've never had I can't recall a time that I've had an issue being able to intentionally spread my light outward. If I needed some empowerment, if I needed some boundaries, if I needed healing, for whatever reason, this time, the more that I tried, the more resistance and the darker it got. And at a certain point, I'm kind of panicking because I've never experienced this before. And it was almost, I'm not sure how to explain. There was this darkness that came and just enveloped my brain, and I could see, I don't remember if I could feel, but it just attached, claws attached. And so now I'm kind of really panicking. And I was told that it was some sort of entity that had realized what I was doing and was also in a panic to stop and to keep the rest of the black substance flowing through my brain. That its point of being there was to keep that in. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I've had so many encounters with the darkness, and I don't darkness, but also the negative aspect of the darkness, to where entities like that are familiar. And so my first thought was, well, let me try to address it. Let me try to find out what it is and see how, if I can intuitively understand how to release that from me so that I can continue with the black substance releasing. And I was told, no, don't address it. You have authority over it. You didn't give it permission here. You didn't give it permission to come in and stop your healing, and you have control over it. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I do. Like, that was super empowering. And so the only words that I got out, mentally, I didn't say it out loud, but mentally I said, I command, and that was it. That was all that I got out. And it felt like that when you're trying to go to sleep and you twitch and wake yourself up, but my body didn't move. It was an energetic shift, like turbulence. Like my gravity changed. It was that much of a difference when those claws released and it was gone, and everything was a burst of light. That's all I could see. That's all I could feel. It reminded me of my Kundalini awakening, of just, that was it. Like, I was just one with everything, that that brightness, that light, that connectedness to everything. But that was an immediate response after those two words. Like, I didn't even have to get further than that. Then it knew what I was going to say, and it knew that I had the authority to make it release from me, whatever it was. With that being said, I've never experienced anything like this before. And I feel that I was led to make this video to reveal that, because there's a million other videos that I really want to do. You need to be reminded of your power. There is a power, and what I'm stepping into is so unfamiliar. It is uncharted territory. I will take one step forward and two steps back because it's intimidating and it's scary. But the more that I release, the more that I heal, the more that I begin to love myself and to trust myself and to trust in the knowing that we are all connected, and so we all can tap into whatever we want and whatever we need. So I was told very early on in my spiritual journey that we all have access to all abilities. Not all of us are meant to tap into everything, but I feel like we all have access to it if needed, when it's needed. I was told, and maybe it's just for right now because of the journey that I'm on and where I'm at in that journey, that there's nothing specific, there's no specific abilities that I'm supposed to be focusing on and growing for myself. But there's so many things that I've been allowed to experience that I wasn't even aware of. The Kundalini awakening, remote viewing, the astral traveling, the channeling, the automatic. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And some of the things, especially like with the astral travel and the remote viewing, like I was pushing the guides because I was like, hey, if I have access to all this, like I want to do it. And they're like, but you don't need to do it. But there was a certain point that I was allowed, that I was given that opportunity to do it, and I haven't felt the need to since. I don't know that I needed to then, but I think it was very much a lesson, and I can tap into this if needed. And maybe down the line, could be years from now, that there are specific gifts that I need to try to tap into and develop more, but not at this point. I'm walking very blindly and very intentionally, and being led to do everything, every step of the way. And if I start pushing back, if I start questioning, if I start thinking ahead, if I start thinking more 3D, everything gets blocked and I stop experiencing less, and everything gets foggy. So, anyways, with all of this, I think it was just, you need to be reminded of your power. You need to be reminded that um, you you have the strength to do the work. As dark as some of the places that I know you all are in, the places that I've been, even the dark places that I find myself in mentally, going through some of this healing stuff, you have the strength to get through this. It might be hard, it might be grueling, it may take weeks, months, years, but you do have the strength and you have the power. You have the power, and just understand that you can step into that, and that you're not alone. I was thinking about that the other day. Through the Looking Glass, the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, I started reading that, and there's been a lot of synchronicities with that. But in Through the Looking Glass, it's based on a chessboard. And I was thinking the other day that we're just a lot, we feel like pawns in this matrix, and we're very limited, and we get killed off very easily. We're very vulnerable. That's a good word for it. I feel like this journey, in my mind, yesterday I was thinking, you know what? I went to the other side and I grabbed the crown and I just walked off the goddamn board right out into the unknown. And I was reminded that I kind of just got pushed off the edge of the table and was handed a crown, handed my power that I've slowly been able to embrace, because the trusting myself, trusting the universe, trusting my guides is a hard lesson, and it's been slow going. It didn't feel powerful at the beginning. It felt like the entire world had imploded. And maybe one day my videos will get into that at the beginning of this recent journey. But no, I guess know that you don't have to stay a pawn forever. There was a random guy at a mall that I met, and we ended up just chatting in the middle of the aisle for the longest time about different things. It turned spiritual very quick. And I told him, I said, I have a really hard time balancing. I have a hard time balancing being, extremely high vibrational but grounded at the same time. Like, I feel like I'm either one or the other, and it's very discombobulating. And he goes, he just kind of looked at me like he didn't understand what I was talking about. And he just looked at me and he said, no, just unplug from the matrix and go play. And I think about that all the time. And so a lot of times when people message me now, and ask what I'm doing or how, I respond with, I'm playing in the matrix. And that's exactly what it feels like, is especially these past couple weeks of really getting into my self-love and self-worth. I'm getting to play. My inner child is getting integrated, but I'm also understanding I'm not playing games anymore. I'm done. I'm done with the games. I'm done with the limitations. I'm done with the expectations of not being authentic. And I'm embracing that, and I'm stepping into my authenticity. I'm stepping into my power, and I need you to know that you can too. I think that's about all I had for you today. Oh, I did pull a couple cards. It was I think my anxiety with making these videos versus just writing or reading from my journal is I can't be a perfectionist, and I can't, I think I'm worried that things are going to be left out, that I'm not going to say all the exact words that I wrote down or everything that I remembered, and I was reminded that the messages are going to come out how they're supposed to, and they're going to reach the people that they're supposed to. So I asked for a little bit of guidance before I turned the camera on, and I pulled out the Four of Discs, which is power. I don't know if that is getting clear. I can't really see. But anyways, it's a tower surrounded by, not a tower, like a castle, I guess, with 4 towers surrounded by a moat. And I was looking at it, and I know I've read and heard before that towers are good, but if we lock ourselves away in them, sometimes that is counterintuitive for us. And so I was kind of curious about the message that was being given to me about this. And it reminded me of how closed off, how strong my fortress is still. I'll put that out there. And how secluded I have made myself from the world for my own self-protection. And all I heard was, open the door and tell them how you built it. So I'm telling you my story, piece at a time, because it hasn't been easy. And I know I'm not the only one. Second card I pulled was 5 of Cups, disappointment. And it came in upside down. I don't tend to read, I don't know where that's gonna, anyways, I don't tend to read my cards in reverse. It's rare. But this one, the more that I looked at it, the more I was told to turn it back in reverse. Because I was thinking, like, am I anxious about being disappointed if I don't get enough views, if I don't say the right things, if I mess up and have to do it in so many times? Is this going back to all the stuff that I'm still holding on to? And at that point I was told I was shown to turn it upside down, and it looks like, to me, it looks like a chandelier, like it's connected at the top, that it's not meant to be the other way, not in this message that I was getting, that it was a message to shine my light in spite of everything that I still carry, in spite of the story, in spite of my past, in spite of my anxiousness, in this new path, that the cups are empty for a reason, because there's a light that needs to shine to turn it into a chandelier. But even if you turn it this way, the cups are empty. They're empty. There's a space. A space has been created. A space has been created for you to fill it. There's room for more. And you can fill it with whatever you want. It's not holding anything. Like there's no disappointment. There's no past. It's not, I guess it's supposed to be, flowing water to nourish the plants around it, but it's not holding on to anything. So there is this space for you to create. And that's a beautiful picture. I think sometimes we overlook the space. When things fall away, or we just look at the vessels, or we just focus on emptiness, we are not looking at the opportunities of what those spaces can hold. All right, I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.